I do not have much of professional achievements to speak of, but what I bring to the table is a story that I hope will inspire and bring hope to someone in this room. Immigrants tend to arrive in Canada in one of three life stages. First, there are those who arrive here as school-age children, and they are quick to acclimatize to Canadian academic and social life. Second, there are people who arrive well into adulthood, bringing a decade
or two or three of professional experience overseas or back home, and are quickly or with a little or a lot of upgrading, are able to continue with their career. Is that correct? And third, there are those who arrive as someone who has completed or partially completed their university degree back home. I'm part of that group. Upon arrival here, guess how much of that university education is credited? Zip, zilch, nada, right? I call this cohort the young, lost, and early 20-something. I was part of this group, and I'm genuinely part of this group, and I'm proud of being this part of the group because I hope that I can inspire someone who is in that sort of generation. I arrived in Canada in 2008, 20 years old, with nothing but, you guessed it, from the title of my talk today, 2 suitcases and a dream. So I just graduated with a cum laude standing from the University of the Philippines, which, by the way, sounds impressive back home, but what does it mean here? Nothing, right? So my story started out as nothing special. This was me, 2008, a mere 7.5 years ago. My first job was at McDonald's. They're an excellent employer. I love them, and I still go to their drive-thru to this day. I was a kitchen crew, and I met lots of people and fellow immigrants who told me that if you work more jobs, you'll get rich and earn a lot of money. Is that true? Who has tried that? Raise your hand. Right? So, if that's the way to get rich, right, then lots of people will be rich by doing that. Correct? So, actually, I throw in another picture here. This was my wife's first snowfall. So, I'd like to acknowledge my wife, Diane. She's been supporting every step of the way. She came here in 2009. So, within a month, I was working 3 jobs, sometimes all 3 in one day. Newspaper delivery for the Calgary Sun from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m., call center for a bank from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and then back to McDonald's from 6:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. Whew, does this guy even sleep? I did earn some extra money, right? But was it worth it? To give me the short answer, no. My car at that time, a 10-year-old Dodge Neon, broke down less than a month into the newspaper job, and my salary of $900 from the newspaper job was not enough to pay for the $1,300 repair bill for the car that I bought for $1,600. So I started to become aware, and I started to think, there must be a better way. So, as I mentioned earlier, I came to this beautiful country like many thousands of people do every single year, just with 2 suitcases and a dream. A dream of a better life, a dream of raising a family, and a land of untapped opportunity. I grew up playing computer games, you know, those tycoon games, business simulation, like Roller Coaster Tycoon, Railroad Tycoon, Transport Tycoon, even the Theme Hospital, Theme Park, even Free Enterprise, SimCity. I played those. And they ultimately shaped my dreams and what I wanted to do as I grew older. And my dream was to be a low-profile multi-millionaire who owned profitable businesses and real estate. Borrowing a term from my university professor, Rico Lardizabal, he's not here, he lives back at home. He's relatives with the owner of Reyes Barbecue, if you're familiar with that. I wanted to go from low income. LOW is his acronym for living off wages, right? So that's what I call low income. To become a wealthy landlord, and LORD in landlord stands for living off rent and dividends, right? So there's something that you can take away from there. I wanted to be able to do what I want, when I wanted, without asking permission from a boss, and work because I want to, not because I have to. And I wanted to achieve this by age 30. Fast forward 2016. In a little under 8 years, my wife and I have a combined salary of, and I'm proud of this, 0. We do not have full-time jobs, my wife and I. We are semi-retired, meaning we work because we want to, not because we have to. So it's optional for us to work, as business passive income and investment income are more than enough to pay the expenses. We are no Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates techno-whiz. Man, I wish. That would mean billionaire right away, right? But the good thing is, we're both 28 years old, and I share this not to raise my own bench or boast, but in hopes that someone will be inspired and hopefully be able to achieve their dreams if they have similar aspirations as I have. So let me share a few pictures. So this one was actually my wife took a picture. This is our beautiful home in Chestermere. So this was after like 7 years of our hard work here. And these are some other investments we own. So I believe there's money in ugly. So, and I just threw in a few pictures of my wife and I. So this is, look at the transformation. 2007, 2009, 2014. So, what gives, right? What took us from then to now? Number one, awareness. Awareness is key. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind. And we meet a lot of people, and most people are willing to share their advice. The big question is, in the area of finances, would you want to trade places with that person? Right? So, where do most people get their advice regarding finances? Would you agree? So, there's nothing right or wrong about this. However, just ask yourself, do I want to be in the same financial situation as them? Yes or no? So, if you look at their life, if they're doing well in a certain area, then you can take the advice of that person. That's what I want you to take away from this. So, the next part is, you have to be intentional. You must not wander around in life. If you want to drive from Calgary to Vancouver, you hopefully do not mindlessly drive around into random streets without a GPS or map, or at least following the road signs. You must know where you're going, and you must also know why the heck are you going there. Is that important? You must understand it deep within you, why you're going there. The next part is finding a mentor. My wife and I had two very influential mentors. Below is Kuya Marlon Antonio. So he's one of my mentors. And I'm not sure if he's not here, but give him a round of applause anyway, because he's very influential to our life. And above is Ate Carol Villarica of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. They provided inspiration to us and showed us that there is indeed a way to achieve your dreams and not be stuck at a job you hate. Both are very exceptional individuals who are more than willing to share their secret. And also, aside from looking for these individuals, there are other ways. So you can learn from these successful individuals through their books, audiobooks. My favorite, YouTube, right? That's the most amazing thing, and it's free. Just skip the ads, right? You skip ad in 5 seconds. So examples would be Jim Rohn, Robert Kiyosaki, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, John Maxwell, etc. So they're among my favorite authors and influential people. So a quote from Tony Robbins: "Long ago I realized that success leaves clues and that people who produce outstanding results do specific things to create these results." It's like a recipe. If you want a certain dish, follow the recipe. The next thing I want to touch on is some Filipino mentalities to say goodbye to. So as much as I'm proud to be Pinoy, we have some mentalities we have to get rid of in order to improve our financial lives. Number one, libre, libre. And hanggat nakakaisa, taking advantage. This is entitlement mentality. But what I have learned is that your reward in life is in direct proportion to your contribution, your service. If you want more, get more, be more, and do more, right? The next one is utak talangka, or crab mentality. This one is a big killer. this is like, you have to find out deep within yourself. If you see someone successful, what do you feel? There's only two feelings you can feel. Envy and the opposite. I take this from Bo Sanchez. Gratitude. If you feel thankful that that person is successful, you will become successful too. And you'll achieve happiness. This next one is, I don't have to explain this, One Day Millionaire. What's the most busy day in the mall in the Philippines? Quincenas, katapusan, right? 50 and 30. These are non-empowering beliefs which have no place in the heart and head of someone who wants to become wealthy. What I want to touch on next is words. Do you believe words have power? Yes. I do. And whenever I talk to someone, I could tell through their words what their current financial life is now and what their financial future is. The good news is that we can change. If you change your words, you change your world. When you say certain words or phrases, they stop you from becoming creative. Forbid yourself from thinking or saying these words. We do catch ourselves sometimes, but you must learn to forbid yourself. I'll just take this off. It's okay. I can't afford it. Would you agree it stops you right there? Yep. It limits you? Yes. Instead, say this. Use these words of power. How can I afford it? Does that get you thinking? I'm thinking of this beautiful house, beautiful car. And then you shut yourself down and say, I can't afford it? No. When you start thinking, how can I afford it? You'll learn. Next, I will never be wealthy like him or her. That shuts you down. But if you change it to, what can I do to become wealthy like him or her? That changes everything. It makes you creative. Money is the root of all evil. Do we hear that a lot? Let me tell you this. Money is neither good nor evil. It's merely a tool. Okay? Let that sink in. And if you believe this, and you want to be a good person, you won't want to have any money. Understand that. Instead, say this. Money is a tool to do good and help others. And this last one. I have no money. Lots of people say that. But I forbid myself from saying it, and I hope you forbid yourself from saying it too. You can say something like this instead. Be creative. I am just temporarily short on cash, and I have some accounts receivable coming in. So, how much is that accounts receivable? Well, that's how your creativity, that's how your creativity will come into play, right? So, I'd like to touch on this final point here. Personal finance is a habit. It's a habit. To improve ourselves financially, we must make it a habit to strengthen ourselves every single day. So the poor and middle class have this one distinct habit, and we can sometimes catch ourselves doing this. It's this. You have income, you spend, and you try to save what is left. Usually in a bank or a poorly performing investment, and it's spent later on anyway, to buy abubot, gadgets, liabilities, right? But what if we can adopt this simple habit? Just change one thing. Make this your habit. Earn your income, set aside money for investments, and I don't care what the heck you do with the rest of it. You can spend that because you put your investments first. So those investments create a passive or portfolio income. So those are some examples of it. The former, this one, it sets a habit for you to be a slave to that job you hate. Or you're going to be forced to work because you have to, not because you want to. But the latter, it will allow you to someday make your job optional. To work because you want to, not because you have to. So in closing, I have these pointers to help you improve your financial life. Have a mentor. Be intentional. Say goodbye to non-empowering beliefs and mentality. Change your words, change your world. Financial education. And it's a matter of choice. What habit do you adopt? Right? So, do you want the former or the latter? So, my advocacy is this. My advocacy is for more young people to see a vision of themselves, no longer trapped in a world where they're forced to work just to pay the bills. Reach for your dreams, fulfill your passions, and achieve maximum happiness in life while being able to bless others. And I leave you with this quote: success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. And if you love what you are doing, you will be successful. Thank you very much.